In this video, I did a quick tour of the city of Stockholm, Sweden, the capital of Sweden. And we started out in like the old town and kind of talked about the foundation of the country, starting there on those islands in the middle of the lake and Baltic, and how it acted kind of as like a place to collect tolls and taxes on trade between the interior and the outside world. And then we talked about the Swedish royalty and how they behaved, and the nobility, Swedish royalty, nobility in the church. So I got to learn about that and just different parts of the old town and in that part of Stockholm. And then from there, I kind of made my way to an island that had a bunch of museums, and I got particularly interested in the Vasa Museum, which holds a shipwreck from 1628, I believe. Yeah, that's the year. And the ship was built incorrectly, and it sunk right after it set out to sea. Like literally, it was out about 1,000 meters and immediately went down. But the interesting thing about that, even though it was kind of a failure, it did kind of like leave a time capsule for us to see in the future. So I was really glad to be able to see that ship. It was kind of like, it was very interesting. And then if you're into a foodie, I went and ate some fish soup in a food hall. It's a local dish there, Swedish dish. And I also tried a Swedish hot dog. So I'll see how it stacks up when I do a hot dog video of Scandinavian hot dogs. But overall, it was a good day, and I really appreciated my time in Stockholm today. Learned quite a bit. And if you've been liking my videos, please like, share, subscribe, and share them with other people. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to continue doing travel videos when I get home. So it'd make a big difference if you did all those things. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, so I am going to do a walking tour of Stockholm today. Kind of took a little bit of a break yesterday, and my hostel's right there in the corner. The City Backpacker is actually a pretty nice spot. It was kind of like an underground, I don't know, it's like has like a bottom level, and it feels like you're almost on a ship or something, and it's really dark in there and super quiet, so I was able to get some good rest for the past couple of days. So yeah, so far like Stockholm's been nice. It's been sunny, beautiful weather, like nice and cool. Can't complain. Buildings look cool. Yeah, just looking forward to doing my walking tour today. So that's the main train station in town. That's where I came in from. I can see all the public transport there. Scooters galore here. There's a ton of these delivery scooters everywhere now. This is like food companies, kind of like Uber Eats, like everywhere. I don't know how legal this is, but it's so crazy. The train crossing there, that's where I came in. This is the bridge. It's like the city is like made up of a bunch of different islands. It's really cool. It's so cool. And it's like so beautiful. So I'm gonna find out what all these buildings are soon, so I'll share with you once I know. So this is the house of the nobility. This is where all the lords and ladies gather. It used to be like a part of the government, but now it's like a private entity, they say. That's what that backyard before that I just showed you before. So yeah, look at that church. Pretty crazy. So I'm probably gonna go down this other street there. It's so cooler. Yeah, this street kind of reminds me of like Paris or something. It's buildings. It's pretty cool. Ah, it's so cool. So just like walk from over there. All right, so we're starting our tour here at the metro station Gamla Stan, and I heard like the metro stations here in Stockholm are like really cool. So we'll see what this one looks like. This one's kind of like a standard old school metro. It's got the metro tiles here. There's nothing really outstanding about this one. I've seen some videos and pictures of some other ones that are supposed to look really cool. Yeah, this is exiting the metro station, so it's pretty good scenery here. So on this side of the island, it's actually fresh water. It's ice cold because we're so far north. But on the other side of the island is actually the Baltic Sea. So Stockholm was basically founded where the Baltic meets this giant lake here. So this is actually a lake, and all the inland waterways converge on this area. And basically, Stockholm was founded by because they were using it as a place to collect taxes on stuff that was coming in and out of Sweden and the outside world. You know, the inner part of this area of Sweden and the outside world. The city was founded like in the 1200s. You're saying so. It's just like a natural choke point, I suppose. So they put like a little promenade beach area. There's even like sand over there. They put like a little sand pit. So I guess you could jump in the lake when it gets really hot in summer. But yeah, it's like a lot of boats. I feel like there's like this nautical thing about Sweden. I see a lot of people wearing like little boat captain hats and like striped sailor shirts. It's kind of interesting. And the guide was saying that all the students, when they graduate high school, they have big parties, but like their graduation cap is actually like a little sailor hat, and they like throw it around, kind of like it's like graduation in the U.S. where everyone throws their hat in the air essentially. But theirs is cooler because it's a sailor hat, I guess, and they can reuse them later on. There's like the little motorway, freeway going to the city. Here's the cathedral. It's probably a Lutheran cathedral, so a Protestant church. And pretty basic, or like unadorned, I guess, just very lightly adorned. Got a little bit of gold up there. It doesn't have any saints or anything like that, so you could tell the difference between Protestant and Catholic churches right away. There's a little bit of like inscription on here. Yeah, they're just doing a lot of work on this church. It's like, but the guy was saying the tower was built like 19th century, so I think the church is just kind of like a random hodgepodge of things kind of put together. There's no clock on there. All right, so yeah, I get to pay to go in there, so I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, putting like an iron um, tower is not the best idea because it does attract lightning, you know, so causing fires, etc. So yeah, like a lot of the royals are buried here. There's all the information of that. See depictions in the past. Yeah, so it used to be like a monastery. Whenever it was under like Catholic times, and then it is now where all the kings were buried for like the longest time. The kings and queens of Sweden. Yeah, it seems like Stockholm's more of a motor city than the other two, or the other two cities, the other two capitals of Copenhagen and Oslo. Maybe because they have like a automobile industry here in Sweden with the companies like Volvo and Saab. I don't know if Saab is still producing vehicles or what, but they do have motor vehicle and motorcycle production here in this country.
And this was in the 1500s, so you have a.
It's the first king here, first non-elected king of Sweden, kind of the founder of the modern country.
We have lots of cool
Gustav
pictures
Vasa.
of this. Fantastic.
So here's an overview of what the city used to look like. We kind of like went to this island here at the church, and this side is the freshwater. This side's the sea, the Baltic. So the ocean-going vessels would have to stop here on this bridge, and they'd get taxed to bring their stuff into Sweden. And the stuff that was flowing out of Sweden would also get taxed. So they would double dip. And here's all like the ports and stuff along here. So these symbols in the houses are like old insurance symbols. So if the house had insurance, I guess the fire brigade would actually go to your house first and put the fire out. This is maybe a different company, a different symbol there. And these here hold the beams to the house, these metal rods here. All the houses seem to have them. So kind of ties the house together literally. So right now we're like an old part of town, and this is called a Priest Street. So Prästgatan in Swedish. I'm probably butchering that, but when there was the church was under Catholic Church over here before the Protestant Reformation. This is where all the priests would live, and the main cathedral is just right over there, and that's where they used to have like royal ceremonies and such there. I guess the guide was saying they don't really do that as much anymore.
So this is also a part of like early Christianity. A lot of people don't like.
So these are rune stones. They're actually they are post-Christian actually, and they're derived from Latin, but they were just converted into a more like Nordic Scandinavian style. It's kind of interesting. I thought they were like an ancient thing, but she said they came about after Christianity, and they're designed to honor like basically wealthy people who donated money to certain things, like building roads, buildings, etc., etc. Usually to facilitate going to mass and church, so they get more donations from the church and stuff. So it's kind of like a cycle, you know. So at one point in time, the city of Stockholm was taxing windows. So some clever people decided to put fake windows up so they could avoid the tax. So yeah, people come up with a lot of crazy ideas to avoid paying taxes, don't they? All right, so this is the smallest street here in Stockholm. Martin All right, so we're going down. This is, I don't know, why is this classified as a street? It's kind of crazy. Whoa, watch my steps here. Some double steps. It's more like an alleyway than a street. Come on. This is silly. Right, a couple steps there. Get some gelato and other Italian treats here. Kind of funny.
1722, it first opened. It has been operating in this exact spot ever since then. So it's a very old restaurant. They serve traditional Swedish food.
Yeah, so this restaurant was started in 1722. So been around for a while, and it's very popular still. So a lot of people still go here. It's always booked up. It's just the streets of Old Town. Cool little shops here. Some like wooden stuff. There's a Viking long ship there. So here's a depiction of St. George slaying the dragon, and this depicts Sweden breaking apart from Denmark after the breakup of the Kalmar Union, with St. George being Sweden and that being the dragon being Denmark. And the statue represents independent Sweden, Stockholm Island there. This is a royal castle here.
So this here, the water that you
This is
see
the
here is the
church.
Baltic Sea. Right across from me, I'm pointing towards
There's the
a
Baltic.
nice big building that says Nationalmuseum.
So this Frenchman Bernadotte ended up becoming the king of Sweden during the Napoleonic era. I think they were looking for an heir because the king had kind of ruined the country's finances and wasn't doing such a good job. So we adopted him, and the current royal family is actually descended from Bernadotte. It's kind of funny. But yeah, like he even had to. He was actually a friend of Napoleon. Funny enough, well, I mean, they kind of came up the ranks in the French army together, and he actually served under Napoleon for a while. And Sweden actually ended up allying against the French Empire, and he had to go send soldiers against his buddy Napoleon. So, but it seemed like Napoleon actually kind of understood, like, well, you have a duty to your new country now, so do what you got to do. Yeah, so we're currently in the Royal Palace grounds, and they're working on it over there. So they said they're going to finish doing like repairs and restoration of the palace in the year 2040. So yeah, so got a long time to go. So this where they do the changing of the guards here on the Royal Palace grounds. It's like a grand circle here, and here's the palace, and you can see the guards there in their uniforms. So I guess there's like a lot of different types of museums here where they have stuff that the royals own or I guess belongs to the state of Sweden. So kind of museumed out with royal stuff. So I'm gonna pass on that. It's a cute square. So for the Nobel Prize Museum, if you're interested. So this place actually had a unique history. I guess whenever Sweden and Denmark were united under the Kalmar Union, and Sweden was trying to break away, and like the Danish king actually gathered up all the nobles, like, ah, we're gonna have a big party and honor you guys. But instead, he tried to like kill them all off, and had like these like trials, fake trials, and it was like a bloodbath, kind of like Game of Thrones, like red wedding scene. So kind of crazy. That kind of like let made everyone kind of hate the Danish royalty, and it like augured in like the Swedish royalty. So they were able to come in and look like the good guys after that. All right, so I'm gonna make my way to the Vasa Museum, but I think I'm gonna take public transit because it'll get me there faster. And I don't know. I guess I'll just walk back from there though. So it's actually like a museum with has like naval history, but they were able to pull up an old shipwreck, and it's like a expensive ship that kind of was shoddily built. I don't know. It's kind of a strange story, but find out more once we get there. All right, so I'm taking the bus over there. It costs like the one-time ticket was like $4, so it's a little bit pricey here, but yeah, I have to cross here. It's bus number 76. So the numbers are 76. All right, so my bus is coming right there, so 76. So I'm gonna scan this and we'll look at my bus. All right, and there we go. All right, so that ticket's good for like 75 minutes. $4, 75 minutes. A little over 490, but a day pass is roughly like nearly 20 USD for the days. I'm like, nah. I only use the public transit like a couple of times, so it's probably cheaper just to pay as I go. You know, if I just use it 2 or 3 times, it's like 15 versus like a whole 24-hour pass. All right, so going to the museum islands here. Yeah, the city is just like islands and boats. It's kind of crazy that the whole country was kind of founded in this little area. just over there. I guess I could have just walked, honestly. But... the boats. Watch out for those seagulls. Evil seagulls. What's this? It's a cool little like fountain. A little bubble. Yeah, that's really pretty here. Super green. Ah, I gotta do the hot dog. Alright, this sounds like an original street dog. I should go for it. We'll see what it's all about. Alright, so this is how it looks like it's served. So I got mustard and a ketchup. So I guess I'll put that on there. So alright, so let's do this. So I just put mustard on there. This is the standard Swedish hot dog here. Alright, let's do a taste test here. Alright, here it is. Pretty good. Mm. Mm. Yeah, the mustard is spicy. It's like kind of got a little bit bite to it. Almost tastes like an American dog, so I'm a little bit biased. So I don't know. I think it stacks up there. We'll see. This museum looks cool, but I'm going to the other one, so hopefully the other one is cooler and looks better. But yeah, look at this beautiful green park here. This island is like really nice. You could just chill out here. I feel like Stockholm has like lots of cool places just to hang out, especially like parks and yeah, just the air is super fresh here too. Kind of got away from all that like traffic over there. Oh wow, check out these geese. They look so cool. I've never seen geese like this before. Huh. They're really pretty. They're smaller. They look a lot nicer and less evil than the other geese. Alright, so I'm here at the Vasa Museum and I'm gonna head in now. Alright, here we go. You can see the ship mast in there. It's a good thing that it sunk out here because I guess the brackish water kind of preserves shipwrecks, which is kind of cool. Alright, so I'm entering the museum now. Let's see what it looks like. It's probably like a little scanning device, but it's kind of pricey. It's like 240 crowns, which is like about 24 US, 25, 26 USD. But, oh my god, this is like the pirate ship or something. That's so cool. Oh man, they pulled this thing out of the sea here. Look at that. That is amazing. Holy smoke. That's so cool. Oh wow. All right. I'm gonna like learn more about this thing. All right. So yeah, the original bolts were rusted away, and then they put new ones in the '60s and just replacement ones, and those ones rusted too. And now they have to put new stainless steel ones. So, but yeah, this is like a piece of history, like well preserved. You don't see any ships from that time that are in this condition. Most of them have been destroyed. I mean, this one was what lasted about 1 kilometer into its maiden voyage, and it just sunk because it was so poorly designed. But it leaves us with this great history, though. But yeah, this thing was a massive ship for its time. It had 64 guns on there. It would have been a menace on the high seas for sure. If it would have been designed well enough. Yeah, this is one of the original cannons here. Crazy. So this is what it would have looked like during its hate, like when it first set sail. Crazy, they worked on this thing for 2 years and it sunk in like, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. They said Stockholm in this video I just watched, that Stockholm only had a population of like 15,000 people, and 400 people worked on this thing for over 2 years. That's not including all like the side stuff, but yeah, it's just seeing all this must have been like really amazing. Look at that. Huh. Came up with these crazy designs. Looks like something from like Asia. So this is a depiction of what it looked like when they lifted the Vasa from the sea. So this is from the surface, all the boats required. And you look underneath, this is what it would look like. This is like a model, and this is them like lifting it up. There's the Vasa here in the middle. It's like some of the typical dress of the time. It's like, well, I guess for like the wealthier people, that guy looks like he has like a thick coat. It almost looks like a Santa Claus type character. Wow, it's pretty crazy. All the ships were. So 30 Years War. So Gustavus was sending his like, we're here in Stockholm. So Gustavus was sending his ships out everywhere. You can see all the different countries battling it out. There's some Danish ships, some Dutch ships. You can see the Swedish colonies over there. Yeah, there's ships like all over. There's ships up there. Yeah, it's crazy because I started out way down there. Like I made it all the way up there to Hamburg. It's there. And I went like that to Copenhagen. Then I took the boat to Oslo, and then crossed the mountains to Bergen. Went back across there. Then I crossed all the way the country of Sweden, and now I'm here. And then tomorrow I'll be heading to these little islands here, and then I'll be into Finland there, and then Helsinki there. You can see Russia like over there, and I'll be crossing over there into Tallinn, Estonia, which was controlled by Swedes at the time, and then heading south from there to Riga, and then Lithuania here, Vilnius, just like a little village, I guess, at the time. I guess that's Vilnius there, and then way down to Poland. So this is a depiction of all the different Swedish ships at the time, the Swedish fleet. And basically, Sweden was kind of like the military superpower at the time. They were at war with everybody, so had a lot of enemies. So here's like a cutaway of the interior of the ship, like some of the statues and stuff. So it's basically saying the reason why the ship sank, the Vasa, is they didn't have enough ballast and they're like stones to kind of like weigh it down and keep it steady. And kind of wind would just knock it around. So there's everything. So there's the documents here. All right, so I'm gonna go check out some of the wooden statues that are on it there. Looks pretty cool. Oh my god, look at this. I feel like it's Pirates of the Caribbean, like the ghost ship or something. It's kind of creepy. It's pretty amazing though. This thing is massive. Holy smoke! How do you even steer these things? That's crazy. So when they're these wooden like statues are painted their full color, so what they look like. You can see like the different types of dyes they'd use to color our stuff. It's pretty amazing. The ancient dyes. Yeah, look at this thing. It's like super top heavy, not enough ballast. It's like a bad combination. Yeah, you can see different. Just imagine having to build this thing. Yeah, some of these gun ports are pretty low. Yeah, 35 people died when this thing sunk, but it held a crew of 400 people, so about 400. Yeah, I'm gonna go underneath it, see what it looks like from underneath. But look how tall that thing is. Imagine like the sails on this thing. That's crazy. Yeah, here's like one of the smaller boats that you could send out to different ports and stuff. Go get supplies, like a little supply boat. Oh wow, this is cool. I like the miniatures. Actually, do give you like a better idea of what things look like scale and stuff. Yeah, this was a heck of an effort for sure. Yeah, here's a closer look, but I'm here at the top now. Oh man, it's kind of giving me a bit of vertigo. Oh, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, these are what some of like the wooden statues would have looked like at the time. In full colors. Yeah, this ship was like decked out like with color for sure. Just very colorful looking ship. Yeah, look at that. It's the deck, the top deck there. Yeah, this ship would have been pretty fearsome. Looks like this front section's missing. But yeah, if it would have survived and made it out to the high seas, it'd been a scary beast for sure. It feels like a skeleton of a whale or something. Right, so this is what it looked like to be inside the gun decks. So if you ever wondered what it was like to be on a ship, the feel of it, this is kind of what it would look like. It's kind of, I'm basically hitting my head on the thing here. So for 5'10" and above, it's going to be kind of not fun. You can also see. So at this point, I was realized my mic had just cut out. So I'm just gonna comment from here using voiceover. Yeah, I was just commenting on how tightly cramped it was on the ships. Oh, this is the only piece of gold they found on the boat, and they think it's the ring of the vice admiral. And here, I think I was just commenting on the different types of weapons and animals and items they were bringing aboard the ship. All the plates and bowls and dishes, silverware. And they actually had another exhibit there, James Cameron. And I was just making commentary on how he did a couple missions, one of them to the Marianas Trench, and he did another one to the Titanic. And I was just kind of commenting on how the people that went later on that were killed in the sub accident kind of did a shoddy job. Like Cameron actually commissioned like scientists and he funded it properly instead of doing things that were just not well thought out. I guess I was making comparisons to the boat that they had. They kind of did the engineering on the cheap, even though they like spent a lot of money on it. They kind of cheaped out on the actual engineering and construction of the boat. And I was comparing it to kind of the sub that exploded, whereas you actually need actual scientists and engineers to do things correctly. And just the fact that Cameron was able to do this like in the 90s was pretty amazing. And just the fact that this exhibit was there was really cool. So yeah, always find the ocean stuff cool. And yeah, I just was commenting on how impressive this whole facility was. Just the site, the boat, the historical impact of having such an intact boat for people to study is pretty incredible. And it's definitely like something that should be visited. If you're in Stockholm, I recommend it. I thought it was really cool. But I think I was saying something more profound. Here I was just commenting on some of like the different types of public transit available or different ways of getting around Stockholm. There's light rail, trams, there's There's buses, you have bike paths, walking, metro. It definitely has like every type of transit system available in Stockholm. But overall, everything's pretty well used there. And I was gonna cross the street, but I decided to go to this park instead. It was really nice and green. I thought it was a cool spot to kind of take a look at. And then from there, I went towards the food hall and I noticed this tram. It was kind of like, I think this tram's probably like 100 years old. And how we could basically keep some of these old tram infrastructures going almost indefinitely. They last forever. Yeah, then I was just making my way to the food hall. But yeah, the city, Stockholm has a lot of bikes for sure. It's not like Copenhagen, I think, has like Copenhagen and like Holland. Then I made it to the food hall and I was just commenting on all the different types of food you could get. There's definitely whatever you fancy, and they got it. And they have like Chinese food, they had like local food, all the different types of. Well, yeah, they had like butchers and they had cheese there, bread, like everything, all kinds of types of food. And I was trying just to get some regular sweet. I had been here yesterday and got the fried herring, and it was really good. But I saw this fish soup that they had, like a local dish, and I was like, I gotta try it. And it was really good. It was really tasty. If you're not a big fish person, I would not recommend eating this because it had pretty much the herring. In addition, it had shrimp, and it had mussels in there too. All those things I like, so it was good. And I was commenting, look, there's some chilies from Mexico. So this place was like a Latin American market, so they had stuff from all the different Latin American countries. But yeah, the market was really cool. I definitely recommend going to this market if you're there. The it costs like $13 to $15 for like a plate, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, Stockholm is definitely a cool city. I wish I had like the museum pass or something like that to go check it out again, because I think they definitely have a lot of high quality museums there, but going to them on an individual basis would be really expensive. Overall, I can't really remember the commentary I was making here, but I just I had a good time in Stockholm and learning about all the different aspects of the history of Sweden and the city itself. And yeah, just the ship was really cool. Definitely recommend seeing the Vasa if you're there. And like, share, and subscribe, please. Thank you.